Welcome to the world of AI-generated cars. Xpeng Motors out of China has just unveiled their MONA M03 car with a starting price of $27,000 and a drag coefficient of just 0.194, making it undoubtedly the world's most aerodynamically efficient car ever. This new launch is a part of Xpeng's global vision of launching a sub-brand targeting EVs as low as 14,000 US dollars. Now, obviously, you bring these to Europe and the US, your price is going to be a lot higher because of tariffs. But despite that, the competition that this car brings is significant. However, despite just the impressive specs and cost-competitive nature, there's a lot more that this new product line shows around the strength of the Chinese auto industry, as well as what we can expect to see in product launches going forward. And a lot of that particularly revolves around the idea that most of the design of this car you see on screen was done using AI-generated models. That's right, folks. This car doesn't look half bad for something generated using a computer software. Instead, it looks something designed by a German engineer who might have been hired by Xpeng Motors, with the likes of Porsche design as well as some Polestar and some even American styles on the body. You can see this contrast really well if you compare it to Xpeng's other models on the market right now, like the G6, the G9, and the P7, which have this distinctive X logo robot face on the front. And as it turns out, it might actually make a lot of sense to have a split strategy like this to attain better profitability down the road. For example, Tesla's Model Y and Model 3 look completely different from the Model S and the Model X. And those lower price models are what enable Tesla to generate record profits from those vehicles and is what created a lot of shareholder value. And that kind of similar approach needs to be executed on in such a competitive market like China, where consumers are actually much more inclined towards buying modern and brand new designs rather than age-old recycled products. The M03 is actually based on DiDi Global's robo-taxi project that was canned last year. And since Xpeng has DiDi as one of its largest investors, and DiDi is subject to annual equity grants for the next 2 years based on sales numbers, it seems like the company's decided it'd be best to launch it in a more mass market fashion. And mass market it is because this whole product is intended, according to Xpeng, to target the younger generation buyer, which is by far the fastest growing population in mainland China. And as it turns out, what most young people don't care about necessarily are the exact features a company like Xpeng can help save costs on while reducing the overall MSRP of the vehicle and selling more units. At a starting price of $27,000, the BYD Seal is a little bit more expensive than the M03, which means in terms of volume at least, there's a lot of opportunity here. And as for how Xpeng has been reducing that price itself, well, it starts off by addressing two key technologies that the company has decided to take a drastic change on. First one being the fact this car does not have a heat pump, which is industry-wide known to be a much more efficient way of heating a vehicle and cooling a vehicle during times of extreme temperatures. Instead, regular PTC heaters or resistive heaters are going to be used, which isn't necessarily a big problem for moderate climates, but could be for more extreme temperatures. But since China doesn't necessarily have most of its population in an area of extreme climate, this certainly is a good type of business decision to make. And well, secondly, folks, is the idea that the M03 does not have independent McPherson struts on the rear. Yes, this car actually has a torsion rear suspension system that uses a torsional bar for dampening as well as rebound. This is not something that's going to necessarily hurt ride quality for passengers, but is going to potentially hurt the longevity of the vehicle as well as quality of ride at different speeds. This means that the M03 isn't necessarily going to be the most sporty car that people have driven, although torsional suspension has been proven to be a much more robust technology for non-EVs. This obviously on the surface seems like pretty aggressive cost cutting, but in my opinion is the right direction to head in to areas where the consumer necessarily isn't going to notice unless in extreme scenarios. Most consumers don't really know what kind of heat pump technology their vehicle has, less even what kind of suspension the rear axle is sitting on. So it's going to be really exciting to see how this new product line from Xpeng and even other Chinese OEMs in mainland China are going to disrupt the EV space and lower the cost of ownership even more. As usual, folks, that is just my take on the situation, so let me know your thoughts on Xpeng's brand new MONA line down in the comment section below, and thank you very much for watching. Take care.